Welcome to Talking Cars with Consumer Reports. We have a very special episode number 2 for you. It's recorded here on the floor of the New York Auto Show, here in the Jacob Javits Center, way on the west side of New York. I'm Tom Muchler.
I'm Gabe Shenhar, Program Manager and Senior Auto Test Engineer.
And we're here to talk about what we saw at the show. So Gabe, what do you think the most important car of the show was?
I think there are probably 2 cars that are really important. One of them is a Toyota Highlander, which is the 3rd generation of this wonderful, very functional family SUV. And the other is a Jeep Cherokee, which revives an old name, but it's actually the first Jeep built by Fiat.
Well, actually, I'm a bit surprised because I had another pick for one of the top 2 cars, but we'll start with the Highlander first. It's really got a challenge because the current Highlander is our top pick mid-sized SUV.
That's exactly right, but I mean, don't forget that the Highlander was half a notch smaller than the current competition now with the Chevy Traverse and the rest of the Lambda platform and others. So it kind of needed to get on par size-wise and have a little more room, especially a 3rd row seat.
Yeah, I think having a 4-inch wider rear seat's going to help a lot. Also, they're claiming it handles better. The thing I'm worried about, though, is that in recent Toyotas we've been seeing the ride hasn't been that good, and some of the interior quality's been, you know, they put something nice and then there's cheap stuff all surrounding it.
I'm just as worried about that because the Highlander shares a platform with the Avalon and the ES, and those 2 cars...
They're all Camry-derived, yeah.
Yeah, those 2 cars' ride has deteriorated a bit. So let's hope they didn't go off the wall here.
Yeah, let's hope they worked it out. I'm with you on the Cherokee. You know, it's a bit of a funny-looking thing.
Yeah, that grille is a little overdone, I think, in my opinion. But who knows? Maybe that's the thing they need. Maybe.
I know a lot of people who owned older Cherokees, and if they were dead, they'd be turning over in their grave from it. But they're not there yet. But no, you know, Jeep of all companies should have a decent small SUV, and they've all been crap. I mean, the Liberty. Oh God!
Oh, that was a disaster. I mean, those cars really belong in a museum. But anyway, I mean, the first 9-speed automatic transmission for that Jeep Cherokee.
That's a lot of shifting.
Yeah, we'll see how that works. And a downsized Pentastar V6 as the up-level engine and 3 different transfer cases. So, I mean, they really...
There's like 1,000 variations on that thing. And you can get a heated steering wheel, all these posh options. You know, Jeep, you think of it as hose it out and you're done.
Oh,
no, don't hose out this one.
I mean, this is probably gonna scratch $40,000 when it's all equipped. I mean, they
that's
really
a lot like money.
I mean, it'll start probably at $26,000, but it'll go up, way up. I mean, with all these options and features, it's gonna be it's going to seal the gap between where the Grand Cherokee starts now, which is low 40s.
But I also think, you know, it's giving you capabilities you don't have in this class, because if you go way off-road with a RAV4 or CRV, it's not coming back.
Yeah, you're going to stay off-road.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they don't have, you know, the RAV4 dropped the V6. This thing will tow 4,500 pounds with the V6, which normally you can't do with that small of an SUV.
Yeah.
I really look forward to driving this.
Yeah, me too. And I'm looking forward to take the Trailhawk on our Rock Hill.
Oh, that should be a good time.
Yeah.
But you see, the car that I thought was really important here at the show, Cadillac Cts.
I think it's, I mean, personally, I think it's my favorite car here. It looks gorgeous. I can't wait to drive it. I mean, if it drives like the ATS, it's going to be wonderful. And
yeah, I love driving that ATS. That is a fabulous driving car.
Right. And it finally lines up with the competition in terms of the ATS is now a 3 Series competitor, and the CTS is a 5 Series E-Class competitor, a legitimate competitor size-wise without making any excuses. So I think it's really I mean, I don't know if it's going to be as important volume-wise, but I think it's
no, because
really
BMW's volume sellers at 3 Series, so you know, an ATS is selling really well. I worry about Q. I don't love Q.
I love it.
You call it, what's your nickname for the acronym?
Yeah, Q, of course, yeah. I think I've been quoted on that, crime upon ergonomics.
Crimes upon ergonomics, yeah.
Someone from the Boston Globe, I think, quoted me on that.
You got fans. But you know, I really hope it drives like the ATS because they got a lot of weight out of it. What I love about the ATS is it feels light, but yet it's so planted. And you know, to be fair, the current CTS is a great driving car.
It is, and I think it still looks fresh and looks good. I mean, that chiseled look, I mean, I really like that.
Yeah. So let's talk about a few of the other things that are here at the show. Nissan brings out a Pathfinder Hybrid.
Pathfinder Hybrid, as well as an Infiniti JX Hybrid, or whatever they changed the name of that JX now, Q something,
yeah.
Q60 maybe. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, that it's a whole phenomenon. The proliferation of powertrains, more hybrids, more diesels, more four-cylinder turbos.
It's a weird powertrain. I mean, a 2.5 liter supercharged.
Yes.
With all-wheel drive or without.
Either way.
Yeah.
It's going to be available either way. And you know, if the Highlander has a hybrid, why not the Pathfinder?
Well, that's a funny thing. About a couple hours earlier to it, I said, we're the only ones, you know, with a hybrid. And well, that.
Well, they need to update that brief then.
But they do sit 8. The Nissan only sits 7.
Yeah, and that's been, I mean, that's a knock against the Honda Pilot because the Pilot was the only game in town for 8 passengers, I think, standard without choosing any different configuration.
And now Toyota's on that turf.
Toyota is on that, yeah.
One neat thing about the Pathfinder is that lithium-ion battery doesn't take up much room inside. You know, you still have the, it's still a tight third-row seat, but you know, it didn't really lose any space.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I mean, it's just going to make our life harder, choosing what to test and how to be focused on the powertrains that matter.
Like you said, so much proliferation. Acura MDX.
Acura MDX is also an important car. It is the luxury car for those that don't want to be seen in a Toyota Highlander.
Or a Lexus RX.
Yeah, well, that doesn't have the third row seat, but
no,
MDX
which is missing a huge. Lexus needs that.
Yeah. They say they shed 275 pounds of weight from the MDX.
But it's faster around the Nürburgring too. I mean,
yeah,
does that matter?
A car that doesn't even sell in Europe, but okay. I mean, I guess it's credentials. But,
it's just some uniform bragging rights that doesn't mean crap.
Exactly.
To anyone.
So I'm just worried. I mean, they haven't been all that great about NVH. I mean, road noise has always been a little pronounced. So without the 275 pounds, let's see how quiet it's going to be. And I mean, they have to add mass for that new small offset.
Oh, the IIHS
test.
shallow offset test.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing about the MDX is they had revealed it. They basically revealed it in Detroit. You know, they call it a concept. They put little tiny mirrors on it and 22-inch wheels, and that's the concept. And
I mean, Honda doesn't do concepts. I mean,
no,
it's a company that doesn't do frivolous stuff like concept cars.
So when the car came out here at New York, it's like no one clapped. It's like, you know, we've seen this before. Why are
repetition of Detroit?
Whereas, you know, at the Jeep press conference, at the Chevy press conference, people are cheering, "Yay, Jeep!" You know, it's not that accurate. They're wasting their time a bit, I guess.
No, that's just, you know, some old pride.
Well, fair enough.
Especially with the Z28. Everybody remembered having a friend in high school having one of those old Z28. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Actually, our colleague Mike Quincy took a closer look at the Z28. So we'll take a look at that.
Z28 is back. No gold chains, no crazy mullets, no T-tops, but 500 horsepower, manual transmission, tightened up suspension, lighter weight. This thing has got to be a blast.
Thanks for that, Mike. Something else new here is a Land Rover Range Rover Sport.
The Range Rover Sport, I mean, that's really, now it's the real thing. I mean, the old Range Rover Sport was basically an LR4 in disguise. It was a body-on-frame, old thing, really heavy. Now it's the real thing. It's a Range Rover, it's a legitimate Range Rover because it's based on the new Range Rover, aluminum frame, unified body, and they even managed to put a third row seat in that thing.
Yeah, and it's 800 pounds lighter. It's almost 5 toms lighter. It looks a lot like an Evoque.
It does.
Which is not bad. That's not a bad thing. Don't take that as a bad thing.
And that's a good thing because you can distinguish it from the true Range Rover. And I think applying those Evoque styling cues really works well for that size and proportions.
That was a good move. Kia seemed to introduce everything they have in the show. Some car companies, they tweak a button and it's a press release. Here, there's a new Forte coupe. There's an Optima with waffle, a diamond patterned leather seats.
Yeah, I mean the whole term "all new" has been cheapened beyond recognition.
They called the Optima all new.
I think they call like everything all new. I mean that Scion TC this morning, they call that all new.
Oh, that wasn't all new.
So I mean,
got a new hood.
18-inch wheels and tires
and red. They painted
new radio.
Red. Yeah, there's not much there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kia. The biggest thing there is the new Soul.
The Soul, yeah, and that's a redesign. That's a legitimate redesign, I think.
It's bigger. There's a lot more room. Looking inside of it, it's nice inside now. Before it was a little.
Very cheap.
It was a cheap car, a cheap interior. Now it almost seems like it's going after Mini, but with less of the weird.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They have direct injection engines almost everywhere now. So we'll see. I mean, that
if it rides better and it's quieter, it really needs to be both of those things.
Yeah,
that could be a good car.
That might elevate it from that basic low rent category.
Speaking of basic, well, not so quite basic, not so quite low rent, lots of little Germans here. Volkswagen Golf.
Yeah, I mean the Golf, I mean of course it's on sale in Europe already, and I'm surprised that they revealed it here so early, because it only goes on sale in a year from now as a 2015 model year.
Yeah, they didn't even say what engine it's having, although it's a 1.8 turbo.
A variety of engines, but yeah, the 1.8 direct injection, which is it's part of that family of 1.2, 1.4. We have the 1.4 TSI engine in our Jetta Hybrid, so
yep. It does decent work there.
Yeah, it might be pretty slick. I mean, I looked inside that Golf. It looks really nice.
Well, that's a worry, because Volkswagen sucked the money and made a sucky interior in the Jetta. I mean, it's gotten a little better, but no, the Golf looks nice, and the GTI, that looks real nice.
Yeah,
stuck with the plaid seats.
Oh yeah,
I dig the plaid seats.
You have to have that. Yeah, I had those plaid seats in my old 2 GTIs. Yeah, it's got to have that.
Also among the little Germans, Mercedes brings out the CLA 45, 360 horsepower.
Oh yeah, 355 horsepower from a 2-liter turbo. I mean, what's going to be the longevity of that engine? That is
well, actually, let's not hope it goes poof. Now that car's about 46 grand. Would you buy that, or would you buy a normal 3 Series or a normal C-Class?
Well, I think the right competitor for this car, if you saw the concept WRX downstairs this morning, Subaru WRX or STI, I mean, that's going to be an AMG. That's a CLA AMG. It's going to be a very focused, sports, track-oriented car, all-wheel drive.
Huh.
So, yeah, I mean, in terms of horsepower, in terms of intent, I think the Subaru WRX is the one that might give it the run for its money.
That's interesting. Also from Subaru, finally their first hybrid.
First hybrid.
Which makes sense. I mean, totally. Come on,
yeah.
Really.
I mean,
Subaru
they showed us
buyers,
all these trees and all these brooks, and of course, it's just a given that Subaru, that politically correct kind of company needs to.
Yeah, there's not a lot of Mitt Romney stickers on the back of Subarus. Maybe in New Hampshire, but otherwise, no. It makes total sense with their buyers. I'm not sure they're not really all in with this hybrid.
It's I mean, they say only 10% improvement over the regular fuel economy of the XV, which I think we got 26. So to get 29 mpg and for a price of $29,000.
Maybe it'll work.
Yeah, I mean, it'll work for some.
I wish they put it in the Forester.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's not coming.
What was a big surprise to me is that they even updated the Buick Regal. I love the Regal. I think
love that car.
It's a great car no one buys.
No one knows about it. Nobody gets it.
That's why I'm surprised they updated it. It's got a few more features. They took, instead of 100 buttons in the center stack, it's down to 55 or 60 maybe.
Well, and so there is a new touchscreen, I guess. And
yeah, they also more of the capacitive switches we love to hate. And they did the similar updates to the LaCrosse. Some more stuff, interior, new grille.
You have to do what you have to do to get some sales.
Honda, the Odyssey, it has a vacuum cleaner.
As a vacuum cleaner to sweep out all the Cheerios left over and crayons and whatnot.
Now, I've owned 2 Odysseys before I bought the Durango. I don't know if I'd run out and buy another one with the vacuum, and it's only going to be on the probably $45,000 Touring Elite.
Yeah.
So they didn't say much about other Odysseys. They're probably all going to get 6-speed automatics. And
probably, I think that's inevitable.
Yeah.
And I mean, it kind of reminds me of a few years ago. I think the Ford Flex had a washing machine in the back. So.
Yeah. Something that excited me is Volvo. Volvo's going to sell station wagons again.
Yep, the V60. That's a wagon version of the S60. It's doesn't have all that much room in it, but it's a very stylish kind of a wagon. Kind of like it's going to be a good competitor for an Audi all-road.
Well, much like I love the Regal, I love the S60 for similar reasons. It's great to drive, feels pretty light, really nicely finished, not a big car. I mean, Volvo, again, years ago I had a Volvo Wagon. And now the only wagon you could get from Volvo would be the jacked up XC70. So it's good to see them going back this way. And on one more personal note, they updated the Durango.
Oh, very personal note.
And you know, I love my Durango. But despite this job, I have the same problems that other people have. When do I update my car? You know, it's got a new 8-speed automatic. It's got the really nice touch screen. I don't love mine.
How about that knob for the shifter? It's going to make you feel like you have a Range Rover or a Jaguar.
Oh, it will make me feel like I have a Jaguar. But you know what makes me feel better? Having a car that's paid for. And my wife would kill me if we traded ours in on a new Durango.
I think keep it for a while.
I think we'll stick with that. So a big thanks to all of you for sticking with us through this podcast. We really enjoyed bringing you the highlights here of the New York Auto Show. Please send us your feedback through the YouTube comments or through the comments on our blog. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Tom Muchler.
Gabe Shenhar, thanks again.